the Andrea and Stacy show.
As always, I'm Andrea.
And I'm Stacy.
And I'm going to...
We have a little pop-up.
Okay. Well, welcome back. We've had a lovely evening. We started our togetherness about 5 o'clock. Went to our main dive.
Yes.
The diner here in town.
Yes, it's
Piccolo's,
open.
coffee, water. They asked if we wanted to share the coffee.
Yes.
Offered us 2 straws. No. We didn't.
That is what it sounded like she was saying, though.
Yeah. It's hard to understand through those masks a little bit.
It is.
I was telling Dean, there's kind of a phenomenon, like when you're just wearing a mask, but it can disorient you.
Oh.
Like you close your eyes and it's hard to hear.
Yeah.
Like that kind of, you have to turn down your radio to see.
Yes.
Like those things are all like interconnected. So I'm sure it's hard to really kind of function wearing those masks all the time.
And I'm big on facial expressions, and so it's weird for me to look at people's eyes while they're talking because, man, they can be deceiving. I need the whole... There it is! It did it for us!
On the last video we did, I listened to it when that spring boinged. It sounded like we had an orchestra behind us. It was like never ending. I thought, what was that? But I remember when the spring did it, it was just like that.
Yeah.
No, it recorded the after waves and it's audible. I have to play it for you.
Yeah.
It's a weird phenomenon. So if you watch our last video, because I know you guys don't ever miss any, it was on there. And by you guys, I mean whole wide world, internet, worldwide.
That's still too hot to drink.
Mine is iced tea.
I should have
sweet iced tea. It's a thing.
So Andrea knows this story already, but the other day it hailed at my house, but not at her house, which happens sometimes. But it was a lot of hail, but it wasn't quite as big as a pea, some pea size or whatever. So I thought, well, I'll record it for her bouncing off the deck and send it to her because that's what we do. And when I opened the door, the wind was blowing so hard that the downpour, like we got a few inches and like really quickly.
It was a deluge.
Yes, it was. The rain was coming in, so in my infinite wisdom, I stick my head outside because, heaven forbid I record through the glass window. That was an option. Or glass door, that was an option. No. Or I just stick my hand out there with the phone and record. I decide to kind of pull the door close to my face, and I'm bent over, I don't know why, to get closer, I guess, because heaven forbid I slide my thumb forward and it zoom in.
Photography and videography is all about the angle.
It is. So I am about ready to hit record, and I see this piece of hail come, and I watch it, and it ricocheted off the door right into my eyeball. And it made it red.
Did you say it made like a thump
It
sound?
did. It was weird. And then it bounced right off. So I jump up and grab my eye, and I'm like, oh, that hurt. And I turn around, and Jeff's standing there, and he says, did you just get hit in the eyeball with hail? And I was like, yes, I did. And then he erupts. He thinks it's the funniest thing ever. Never did ask me if I was okay or not. So that's all good and well. My eye was watering. I mean, it was upset with me for putting in that predicament.
Yeah.
But I wake up yesterday, and this eye's completely bloodshot, and it wasn't hit with hail.
It was a little jealous. It wasn't getting all the attention.
It's true. It doesn't hurt at all, but there's definite burst.
Which eye did you lacerate last year?
I think it was my left eye. That was a contact, wasn't it? No, I didn't have contacts.
No, you just rubbed your eye or
something.
something.
And it scratched the lens of my eye up so bad that I was blind out of that. Not totally blind. I could see light.
I remember what it was. You got like a little sty thing.
Oh,
or like bit by something, or there was like a bump, and then so the eye was constantly rubbing on it.
Yes, and it
had
scratched it. And I couldn't see like words on a page.
You thought it was just like the little bump that was irritating the eye, but the eye was actually
being cut every time I blinked. So there are thousands of scratches on there, but that healed up. No, I mean it took a while. It was painful.
Sure,
and I
she
had
ran
drops.
into walls for a while, but she got used to it.
It was
Her
fine.
Depth
Once you're
perception
bruised,
returned.
it doesn't really matter anymore. And I was trying to write and type on the computer, and it was. And if you close your eye, it hurt. If you open your eye, it hurt. That was a weird one. going. Yeah.
Allison had
about
just
that.
hurt her eye.
Bad.
Caitlin's mom had just like her cornea had separated or something like serious like that. The retinal or whatever it is. Detachment. And then you hurt your eye. Dean ran into a branch and like poked a branch in his eye.
I remember that. Yeah, it was like the season of the eyeball.
Can you imagine if you all had to wear eye patches and the masks?
We would have had to. Oh no. Mm-mm. I mean, not that I wear a mask.
You need a Phantom of the Opera mask.
I would. That would be the only way to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just glue that baby on there and call it good. And yeah.
It's hilarious. I'm laughing on the inside. This really is how I express humor. You guys just don't even know.
It's so true.
Well, let me tell you what it is. Toad mating season. And in fact, done a little research lying on bed awake at night because I can't sleep because of the toad mating sounds. All night. We have a couple of water features in the backyard, and one of them is like a, what would you say?
A pond waterfall?
It's a shag pad for all the woodhouse toads in the neighborhood. I know it's a woodhouse toad because I watched a lot of videos, and they're identified by their sound that they make, which once again, it's horrible.
It's several
all
times
night.
a minute.
Then multiple frogs several times, or toads when they get going. So woodhouse toads. And I can't chlorinate my, how I've learned how to keep the water features clear. I just get those pool chlorine tabs that, in those little floaties that you put in like the swimming pools.
Yeah.
And it keeps our water features clean without over chlorinating, without having to constantly like refill. There's no snails in it. Can't have any fish in it, but I learned a few years ago I don't want the maintenance of fish in the pond.
Yeah.
So I just like it just for the sound and the aesthetic and the look. But now, since there's millions of toad eggs floating around, I feel like I can't chlorinate it because I don't want to wipe out an entire generation of innocent tadpoles pandemic tadpoles that didn't ask to be born in this crazy world.
So those tabs that you can get, I wanted to put one in the toilet tank because I thought it would smell clean. And, you drop that blue stuff in there or whatever. Jeff forbade it. Like, I've never seen him be like, that's ridiculous, no, before. So I have yet to do it, but I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to tell him.
It's probably the same thing.
It's got to be.
It's probably the same thing.
As those discs you drop in there.
Yeah, because they just slowly dissolve.
Yes.
It adds chlorine to the water at the right level.
Yes.
It's just not dyed blue.
Right. So I'm thinking that, and I am a sucker for the smell of like a swimming pool, especially like a hotel swimming pool that's indoor. So I think I would love it. But
open Stacy's bathroom.
It's flashback to being 13 on vacation. I
get the tea bag.
Yeah. Stay out of the jacuzzi. So I think I'm gonna do that because they're back at Walmart.
You should try it. It's only like $15
$15
if you've got to replace the entire
if it rotted
system.
any plastic that might be in there.
Yeah,
and I'll probably come and like
it can't because you put them in plastic things.
Yeah,
they go into those plastic pools.
Yeah, even the floaty thing they float in the pool
water. I mean, it can't be harmful because you swim in the water with that stuff in there. So
yeah.
I don't see any downside.
And the toilet with 4 of us and only having one toilet gets flushed regularly.
Yeah,
so
it's not like it's going to build up in there.
I just think it would
sitting there one day and you hear a crash and it like shoots off the back of your toilet. Vent it. It's great. No, I really don't think it'd be a problem. I don't see how it would be. And it's safe for the water system, or they wouldn't. Yeah, they wouldn't allow.
Yeah, that is still too hot.
Dean's gonna mow. There must be like at least 15 minutes of daylight left.
I wish I had some of that in me.
Man never quits. We've been busy, like I was telling you earlier. It's the getting into the produce game, man. You can't go in lighthearted or unprepared. So we're having to like keep up, but we're keeping up. We're maintaining.
You survived hail.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, literally
flash
hail.
flood. Literally hail.
Flooding.
Yeah, I mean ice from the sky hail.
Mm-hmm. The armadillo. Man, if I ever break both my ankles and a kneecap, it's going to be because that armadillo, man.
Oh, the tunnels,
Well,
stepping in them.
Like it's deceiving. It'll look like a little hole, but then you step your heel there and it goes because it's sandy soil, so just
Yeah.
a little bit of a thing, and then it.
That's frustrating.
Which I'm not a proponent for running off wildlife because I feel like as long as the armadillo's there, the skunks won't move in, right? Because they don't share territory. And then the house up the road and down the road, I see the skunks running back and forth, and I'm like, I'd rather have an armadillo than the skunks. But I don't know, man. I don't know. There's been a lot of turtles out there in the yard. There's been a few snakes. We got a lot of those skink things. I think it's like an area where it was habitable because there's like lots of places for shelter, and they're used to no one really being there. And then now they have this massive influx of food source and sprinkling systems that come on twice a day. So we're creating quite the habitat.
Valhalla.
Mm-hmm. It's quite the habitat out there for all these things. Nice. So Georgia's been invaded by a lizard from Florida that was invaded by a lizard from some lackadaisical pet owner that dumped, some of these, the lizards that like you can't touch them because if they bite you, you'll get like massive infections, like the Komodo dragons, you know, like their saliva will kill you.
And these aren't iguanas, they're actual lizards.
Yeah, they're not. Okay. I'll have to look it up. But the Komodo dragons that are on that one island, they're extremely dangerous. They're an aggressive lizard, and they're huge, but their saliva contains 3 strains of bacteria that really, once you get it into your system, if you don't have immediate access to high IV antibiotics and stuff, and then you're out on that island, right, you die from those Komodo dragon bites. I mean, it's almost, I don't want to say it's guaranteed, but it's likely. And they can scratch you or drool on you or whatever they do. And then it's in your blood system. You go septic, your heart enlarges. It's like bad. Kind of like those rare things where people get licked by their dog and their limb starts falling off.
Yes.
I mean, so it's a descendant of that type of a lizard. So imagine that type of a lizard, but like, meh, but they're faster, and their bite's really dangerous because they too harbor lots of strains of bacteria. Now, it's in the United States, smaller lizard and access to health care, so you won't die as quickly, but they're very aggressive lizard, and people know not to mess with them. You have to call the people to come and capture them, and they got to be disposed of in a certain way. But now they've left Florida. Everyone's thought, oh, it's always just a Florida problem. They don't spread because Florida's the only one that really maintains the habitat or the climate and stuff. And now they're moving up and finding them in Georgia. So now we have like the nasty lizards in Georgia, and then the murder hornets from Washington. It's gonna get crazy up in here.
And they have no natural predator.
No predator. Like maybe the occasional one gets ran over, or there's nothing that really predates their eggs, and that's the real problem. And them being so aggressive, they can run out predators from their area. It's unfortunate that people have to be so irresponsible.
And they
with
also
stuff.
Literally have that anaconda problem in Florida.
They do.
And they have people that,
they do.
like, if you're a teenager there, if I understand the law correctly, if I say teenager, I don't know if you have to be 18 or if you can be 13 toting a gun or whatever, but you can literally go catch them. You don't need a gun to do that, and kill them, and you can get money for them.
Well, I tell you.
It's like a bounty.
Yeah. And how scary is that?
Because they're killing everything.
How scary is that, though, that there's people like you and I, we could just go anaconda hunting.
Yeah. Yeah. And make a killing. Literally. I mean, don't think that Turner wouldn't be out there doing that.
feel would go bad for me so quick.
It would, yeah. You
So
would hear
quick.
me start to say your name, and then it would be muffled, and you would
I'd
be like,
shoot the
"Well,
wrong end of the snake.
yeah."
Got it. And
Around.
it's like, oh boy. That show, I actually watched that. I was watching it with somebody because, I don't usually watch shows like that, but I do like a good monster movie. And
Yeah.
that show, I think it's just called Anaconda.
Yeah.
I thought, as ridiculous as it was, it's actually a very practical movie. I mean,
It is how it happens.
I thought snakes,
Dynamite.
just, something comes along and they're that. But when you watch those videos of those anacondas, like, people will just sit down taking a break, and then out of nowhere, like, within seconds, they've got one of those things coiled around because they launch.
Yes.
Like, and people come and they're hacking it.
Yes.
And you only have minutes.
Yes, before they
minutes.
crush you.
Like,
Especially your dog.
they go
Some-
straight for the head, and then they start slitting the, like, well, actually, the one video I saw, they go for the head to, like, I guess stop the threat of being bit, but they just start the slicing to break those muscles, like down their spine so they can't contract. But
I would not be skilled enough to slice an animal that's on a person.
I'd have to run inside and get a knife. And
Yeah.
it couldn't be one of the ones I keep on the counter. It'd be one of
No.
those special
I'd
knives
have to
that
run
I
to
only.
Walmart to buy a knife that would be sharp enough out of the package to utilize.
Unlike my grandma, who's got a drawer full of fillet knives, because like fish knives, it's got to be
Yeah.
sharp, and I might just start packing one of those.
Yeah, be careful, but yeah,
I want a fillet
there's nothing
knife.
more deadly than a very sharp knife. Ask Jeff about the one I stuck in his foot. Have I told that story here?
I don't think on here. No, I don't think so. Jeff will be happy if you do.
Yeah. So, it was
Oh.
Christmas or Thanksgiving. I'm pretty sure it was
Holiday.
Christmas. All of my mom's family was up at the house, and
Witnesses.
yes, and Jeff was in the kitchen and I was in the kitchen, and that's about all you can get in our kitchen. And I was kind of getting him to hurry along,
Yeah.
And I had a knife that I was using. While I was using it, I dropped it, and Jeff went and grabbed the sink, and I was like, "It's fine. I just dropped a knife. I'll just get another one."
Yeah.
And I looked down, and he's gritting his teeth, squeezing the counter, the edge of the sink, and the knife was in his foot going doing.
Ouch.
I look up at him like, I don't know if I should pull it out or what. He's like, "Get it out." So when I pull it out, it was like with blood every time his heart beat.
It always hits an artery.
So I grabbed a kitchen towel and threw on his foot, and my mom witnessed the whole thing. And then my dad comes around and is like, "What happened?" I said, "I stuck a knife in his foot." And he's like, "On purpose?"
I can
So-
hear it. Lloyd, Stacy stabbed Jeff.
Yes. That's probably what exactly happened. So I kind of got the
Everyone
bleeding
just assumed it wasn't an accident.
stopped enough. It was deep because it
Yeah.
stood up in there. But of
Yeah.
course, we were literally getting the last of the food out on the table, and he wouldn't go to the doctor. So we just kept that thing tied on there, and then I finally got it to stop enough to put a Band-Aid on it. But yeah, that was a...
I think they'll clot, I think it takes as long as 7 minutes, like a
Oh.
smaller one. Now, if it's a larger one and it's gone past
It was
7
a
minutes,
lot of
you gotta
blood.
go to the doctor, but.
So
Yeah.
that was the Christmas I stabbed Jeff. I've set Jeff on fire in front of his friends. I've stabbed him. I don't mean just stab like that, like stuck it. I think I ran over his foot once.
Mm-hmm.
None of these times were I angry either. This is just life with
But they say that there's no such thing as accidents. That comes from a latent desire to do harm. You're getting out your frustrations, which I am probably not as nice as Dean sometimes because I'm kind of moody and cranky and But he's very tolerant. But sometimes when we work together, I think he is trying to kill me. I just think he's. The other day I was holding up that cellar door.
Yeah.
It was so heavy, and it's a concrete steep steps, and then it was like full of water again. So I was looking. He comes over, and I guess to help me like hold the door, like as I'm like holding it like this, leaning over, and he pushes it up higher, and so I'm like this. I'm like, I don't think that was an accident. I think that was suppressed.
Yeah.
Poor Jeff.
Poor Jeff. And Jeff hurts himself a lot on
He's
his own accord,
resilient,
too.
though. He's resilient.
Well, yeah, he had to be built tough to hang out with me.
Yeah, sissy.
Oh, the other day, Turner always throws random stuff at me just to throw it because he's ornery, and it usually hits my eye, or, like he'll pop a towel at me, and I'll happen to drop something and leaned over at the same time, and I'll get hit, like it's stupid stuff that should be prevented, but that's just how it goes. So the other day, he was sitting in the chair over there, I was on the couch, and we have 2 remotes that we have to have. One turns TV on, one does surround sound, blah, blah, blah. So he's like, hey, do you have the sound remote over there? And I was like, yeah. First of all, I can't throw anything. Second of all, I'm not left-handed. So the remote's like this long and like that wide. I pick it up and I just look at him and I launch it like a bullet out of a gun. It went 150 miles an hour in 3 foot.
Broke the sound barrier.
And I watched it hit him in the lip, and then his hands closed because it was coming so fast. He had to like set stuff down and try to grab it. I thought I knocked his teeth out of his head. I heard it hit.
Ow.
And he just...
You have to sit there for a minute just to make sure they're
I
not
didn't want to speak or have the air move because I thought he might rip it.
Everything just goes still.
Yeah. So he was like, oh, that hurt. I said, are you all right? He said, yeah. I said, are you bleeding? He goes, believe it or not, no, I'm not bleeding. Oh. I was like, I'm sorry. He's
Poor
like,
Turner.
You can't ever hit anything. And then the one time you hit me, it's at 100 miles an hour.
Again, it's a suppressed, like...
No doubt.
Comes out in those moments.
Oh, goodness.
With stealth-like precision. Could drop 100 knives, but would it ever landed someone's foot?
No, never before has it.
Remember that show Adventures in Babysitting?
Yes.
And then, like, they're on the subway and they get in that gang thing, and, like, the little teenage boy, like, runs in to try to make the peace, and they throw a knife and it hits him in the foot, and they're like, go all the way to the emergency room, and it's like 1 stitch.
Yes. That was the scenario.
I bet Jeff would have got more than 1 stitch.
He'd have got some on the inside and the outside. I think that was a deep one.
I like that show. I used to watch it a lot.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in a while.
It was one of the ones that we had on VHS. And which, I mean, we had on VHS, we illegally recorded.
Yes.
So it had fuzzy lines in it in some spots.
Yes.
But not all of them, just at the beginning. Once you made it past that 10, 15 minutes, it wasn't as messed up. It's like they couldn't consistently.
So how would it be that you would record a new show over the other show? Because, like, a show would come on every Thursday night and you won't watch it, so you record it every Thursday night. And then in the middle of the show, it would, like, show part of another show and then pick back up. Like, what causes that anomaly?
Probably this tape, like, skipping
folded
or something. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. Because I think so. Or, like, the double exposed film.
Yeah.
Something like that. It won't be every picture, but it'd be the odd picture.
Well, I think I have all my lights up around the yard. I got them around the deck, string lights, or rope lights, I mean. And I have one more thing of rope lights, but it would mean running an extension cord across the yard, well, you know, in the border around. So I don't know if I'm prepared to do that yet or not. So I think I have everything up and running. So I'm kind of excited about that because it's really nice out there. Just being chill, hanging out. Although we have a lot of mosquitoes right now. Just from all the rain. I don't know where they're coming from exactly. But
I've been putting those mosquito granules and stuff.
I haven't done that yet.
I let it get out of hand that last year we had all that rain, and I never recovered. I fought them all.
We get them really bad in our forget-me-nots. I think because they're under a tree, and then I think it just stays moist. Or when I water, I water them like I do the other flowers, and I think it just stays
They need
there.
very little water to develop.
I didn't know that till all those, whatever the last mosquito disease was that came out.
Oh yeah, remember when we were all scared of those?
Yeah.
West Nile.
Yes,
Zika.
that was it. Zika.
If you caught Zika, you could have mild flu-like symptoms.
The Zika.
Nobody died of it.
No.
But we all freaked out.
Yes.
For a week
especially
and a half.
pregnant women. It was a big thing for them. I don't remember what the side effects of it was, but there was an issue.
Yeah. Well, they didn't know if it would affect fetal development. I don't think it was ever proven that it was.
Yeah.
I think they just didn't know if it could cross that placenta barrier or something.
I just can't worry about it. I think the only thing I've ever legitimately been worried about is Lyme disease. Because I'm always out mushroom hunting or tracking in places I shouldn't be, and always find a random tick on me.
There's one disease that there's lots of viruses that I'm scared of, and they're not, definitely not COVID, but they're not AIDS or, hepatitis. I mean, those things, I'm not worried about those because they're manageable, they're treatable.
Yeah.
But, in the southwest of the United States, in the desert, the drier regions, there's a type of field mouse, and it carries a virus called the hantavirus. And most people get it and die of it before they even realize that by the time they realize that's the disease, they rapidly usually die of it. It's affected almost a lot of are they Navajo Indians out there? Were getting sick and dying, and they finally traced it to what it is mice feces and urine carry this, virus, and now we don't touch that, we don't deal with it, but the problem they realize is when you sweep up mice droppings, that it puts that into the air.
Oh.
And then you actually do breathe it in.
Oh.
And then if it takes hold, it's terrible. And last case I heard of was in, I think, Albuquerque just last year before the holidays. There was a 34-year-old woman, had kids and stuff that died from it. Yeah. So and that's right there among us,
Yes. It's literally could be anywhere.
Properly,
you're shed outside.
Yeah, we had, the mice get in our garage, and I swept up a whole bunch of little dead, because I put the poison tabs in there that they eat, and it killed them, and of course they die in obscure places. So when I cleaned out the garage, I was finding in various states of decomposition tiny little mice and stuff. Now, it's not the same kind of mice that carries the hantavirus, but they carry lots of nasty viruses. Yeah. So you get a bleach water solution, and you spray, and you have to leave it 10 or 15 minutes, and then you can sweep up the droppings. That's the safe way to do it when you clean up mice stuff. You never just want to start sweeping it up. Same thing with raccoon feces. There's some nasty, nasty viruses. That'll scare you. It'll make you want to you'll change the way you see raccoons if you look up raccoon.
What is
the dangers of raccoon poop?
I probably won't be doing that.
Mm-mm.
I'll be too paranoid about it.
Yeah.
What is the disease you can get from stepping on cat poop that, apparently a bunch of people have it and don't even know?
Cytomegalovirus. That's the CMV.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Dangerous for pregnant women.
Yeah.
If you contract the illness while you're pregnant.
Yeah.
If you've contracted the illness, your body made antibodies, and you're over it now and you get pregnant, there's no thing. But if you come in contact it while you're pregnant. Cat scratch fever, that kind of a disease. The threat is real and present everywhere you go. Those are the things that scare me, because my likelihood to encounter something weird like that would be high. It's crazy what's out there, but we survive, we go on.
Still kicking.
Yeah. But those are the ones that make me cringe.
Yeah.
And one thing, and all this, one thing I did put a mask on for was when I cleaned out our chicken coop, because it's not a virus, but fungus. is nasty, nasty, and that'll get in there and that'll ruin your life. And
Yes.
the fungus and stuff that's, in and around chicken coops and chicken feces and stuff, that's nasty. It actually mimics lung cancer. A lot of
Oh.
times when people get those fungal infections of the lung, they'll go misdiagnosed a long time, mistreated as a type of lung cancer, and it turns out to actually be a fungal infection. And normally, the people that get those are ones who work around poultry. So that, makes me nervous, because I deal clean out the coop and stuff.
Yeah.
So those are very real risks for me. But I learned the first year, like, our chicken coop is kind of like one you can walk into. It's one of those little outbuildings, like 12 foot by, not even 12, maybe like 10 by 10 foot. I don't know exactly how big it is. Maybe 8 by 8. I'm not good at measurements. But it has the two barn-like doors you walk in, and we converted it to a chicken coop. The first couple times we cleaned it out, we would go in there and scoop out the shavings and stuff, and there'd be like a dust cloud.
Yeah.
And it was horrendous. Now I've learned if I put the water hose on mist and I just, mist everything down, I'll spray it down, give it a chance to soak in for like half an hour or more, and then I can go in, and then the dust isn't as big of a problem.
That's how we do it. We soak it all down and then rake it out, and then once a year we power wash the inside of it.
Yep.
From top to bottom. But usually I'll just water hose it out if there's
Yeah.
something that I can't really reach or get out. But yeah.
I just put on like that jet setting.
Yes.
That just makes that
Yeah.
stream. But so those are, things that I think a lot of people don't think about. And then when I see, like, a lot of people rushing for gardens and chickens, that is totally exciting. But do your prep work there too, because there are risks and stuff when your hands get in. There's diseases you can actually get from soil, especially if it's soil that's been contaminated by, feces from dogs or cats or anything like that. And there's definitely risk involved. So invest in a pair of gloves from time to time until you're sure what you're digging in.
I'm the world's worst about not using gloves.
I think you kind of get a comfort level when you know what's out there. And that's good. A case in point, I was pulling weeds from around the onion rows out there. Made it down one row, but I did it. And I had to go put on my gloves because those white caterpillars, those fuzzy hairy ones that like sting, they were like, not on the onions. It was on, what else was growing? The turnip greens, I think is what it was. And when we were picking the kale, I grabbed a few leaves and I turned it over, and where there was one, there's like 6, and I was like, oh gosh. So it's funny what little dangers we encounter on a daily basis from something as simple as gardening.
And have no idea.
Yeah. We're resilient, though. You know,
are.
when you don't worry and you just go about your business.
I don't take care of my body, but if you take care of your body, your immune system is strong, and you
do take care of your body.
Well, I could do better. But
we all could. As far as physically fit and
just,
stuff.
Yeah, and just eating better, more of the right things. But I'm amazed at people who don't ever open their windows or doors to let their house air out.
It's kind of scary.
It really is. If I'm doing like what I guess you would call like spring, like if I'm doing the fans, the ceiling, the walls, everything, because we live in an older house, so a lot gets through. But when I'm doing all that, I open the door, I put a fan in the window blowing out, and I open all the windows because
you need that.
It's just
air circulation.
Yeah, it's just too much.
Boy,
I don't mean it's just too much. You just, when we have textured walls, and it really can hold dirt too, and like all this time we keep our back door open, and it just makes the house air out and fresher and
there's nothing worse than a shut in tight environment. It's so unhealthy. That's why things like submarines and naval ships and stuff are real problems in the areas they have to like constantly ventilate.
There's dander from your animals. There's dead skin cells from you, hair. And then anything you spray in your house
The
stays
aerosols,
in there. Anything you cook,
Mm-hmm.
even if you have a vent hood, it still does its thing. Anything you do your clean with your floor, whatever, anything you track in from outside, none of these are preventable things.
Mm-mm.
But the levels that build up in the house
So bad.
over the years, especially like an older person who's in an apartment that never opens a window or never lets the door open,
Let sunlight in.
yeah, that'll kill most of those things.
Sunlight needs to come in
Those
just
germs,
as well. It's very important.
Well, I'm fixing to make my whole house smell like a swim pool, so
That's all you're gonna want to do. I want to go swimming today.
yeah.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, let me tell you one more story. So I go to Target with Jeff, and I'm looking for outdoor cushions for 6 chairs, 4 match and 2 match.
Mm-hmm.
And they're metal chairs that he bought like the first week we were together at a garage sale. So they're a little sentimental, and they're cool. They need to be painted, but I'm going to paint them, redo the bottoms, and then just buy cushions for the seats. So I looked at outdoor cushions, and they're like $20 and up a piece. And I only need like 15 by 15.
Mm-hmm.
They could be bigger than that, but I thought, well, if I make them, they'll cost more than that to buy the foam and whatever. Well, I found some cheap ones online that's like a 1/2 inch of foam, and I thought that won't do any good sitting on that
metal.
on that. I'm going to do a plywood base, So I felt like I was going to just get them, and then I felt like that was a waste of time. And then it dawned on me I could buy indoor cushions for outdoor because they're going to be under the shade, and they won't stay out in the winter or whatever.
They'll dry
anyway.
just as fast anyway.
Yeah, and most likely a squirrel's going to find them the first day I put them out and dig a hole in them and steal all the stuffing anyway. So there's that. Well, we go on our shopping where you hit all of the stores that we don't have here in town in the city. And I go to Target, and they had white, well, it was kind of an off-white and red striped. They're called striated because they're not true stripes, I guess. And so they had 5. I know better than this. I thought, well, I could get 4 that match and 2 that match, right? But I really liked the red, and I didn't care for any of the other ones. So I said, Jeff, what are the odds they'll have them at another Target that we're passing by? And he says, you probably just order online too. I said, okay. So we went by another Target. So he pulled in so I could run in and see if they had a 6th one.
Yeah.
They had 2 gray, like dark gray. And I was like, oh, now I have another option because they didn't have those at the other store. I could go outside and get the one out of the car, return it, get the 2 gray, and have red and gray. And that would be fine. I'm probably going to paint the chairs gray. And so I thought, like gray and pink, like the sets. And I thought, well, that would be fine. And then I thought, you know what? No, I'll just order online. And I said, should I check and see if they have it online? And he was like, if you want to, then you'll know if you want to get it. I'm like, no, let's just go. I was just tired, let's just go.
Couldn't make it.
So I get home, and I want to order it that night.
Too, forget.
I haven't even bought the plywood for the chairs yet, but I wanted to order it that night. So I get online, and it tells me it's out of stock. And I'm like, great. So I'm looking at the ones that are in stock, and it's like a blue straight. Like nothing is going to go with what I want. So I realize I have it on Store Locator. So I turn that off, and they have one.
Oh, good.
So I'm super excited. I'm doing all this on my phone, by the way. So I go, and when I put it when I open it to look at it to add it to my cart, it says it can only be shipped with $25 worth of stuff. So I have to buy this is a $10 cushion, great price, thick, like this thick, so I need $15 more worth of stuff, plus then it's going to be like $5.99 shipping. So we're looking at $31 minimum if I can hit exactly $15. So I'm like, well, we need like some shampoo, and so I got shampoo, and then when that popped up, it said I did this to myself. It said, if you order $20 worth of hair and beauty products, you get a $5 gift card. And I was like, well,
I need to spend $15.
So
if
I'll
I spend
20,
I'll get 5 back.
and that'd be like free shipping.
Mm-hmm.
So I, for like an hour and a half, go through things to try to find things as close to the dollar amount that I want, and I'm always like a penny off, like because everything's 99 cents. So not but like $10.99 or whatever. So finally, I decide to just get what we need, and everything works. I put in the coupon code, whatever. So it's 2 days shipping. Well, I didn't know it was free shipping first. So I get the $20 and the $10, but to get free shipping, you have to spend $35. But I'm thinking I got free shipping because of the gift card, right? Well, it's cost me 99 cents for that. So I'm like, screw it. I'll go back and get those other things I saw that I would like. So now I've spent $35.
3 hours of your life.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
it's hard.
So every time I would get close, it would throw something else at me because I was in that trap of it's late and I want to order a $10 item. So it's 2 days shipping. But because I ordered so late, it's not going to be here till like Wednesday or Thursday, which is fine. I'm not in a hurry for any of the stuff I got. Obviously, I didn't know I was even going to be buying it. But like $36 in, and it says it'll email you the gift card, the $5 gift card. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool, because then I can turn around and use that on another order later or whatever. Oh, no, it's in-store purchase only. And we don't have a Target here. So, I don't know if it'll ever get used.
Oh, it's going to get used now.
It'll cost that much in toll to go use it.
Just take all that stuff you ordered online, go return it in the store.
Oh, I should do that.
Then you just be back to your cushion free shipping.
Yes.
And a $5 gift card.
And a $5 gift card.
Yeah, it's aggravating. It's like when you go to like Maurice's, right? And you've spent forever trying things on and settling.
Yeah.
Usually it's me settling for something.
Yes.
And then I take it up there and they're like, oh, you can get, if you get one more item, it'll make this half price. And I'm like, ring it up.
Yeah.
I'm not putting myself through that. I'm not going to go pick something I'm going to hate.
And it wasn't like you had 2 or 3 shirts you were trying to decide which one to get.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on.
I got lucky to get this.
No.
Yeah.
Just no. Put the price you want on it. If I agree with that, I pick it up and go pay for it with known tax, right?
Yes.
I don't need any, like...
incentive.
No.
Yeah, I fell in that one pretty hard. And I should have just got I'm not regretting. I like that they all match.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'll just paint all my chairs to match. And there's just a little difference in them, you know. But they are 2 sets of chairs. But I just could have got the gray and been done and not been out $27.
Sometimes I have to rationalize myself like this, like the $10 to $25 thing, you know, to like be able to purchase it. I tell myself, if I were going to go exchange those, I will drive up there. It will cost me gas. I will get a drink before I go. I'll grab something to eat before I get back.
Yeah.
I'll impulse buy things I didn't intend to buy.
Yeah, so nobody's running up there. And it's an hour away. So you're out a minimum of 2.5 hours. That's if you just exchange it. And by the time I get back up there, they literally only had 2 cushions out of all the colors that they had. So who's to say that they would even have it? And I tried several stores around us, you know.
But it was like a drive between Targets.
But I mean, like I tried to see if anybody had it in stock, and nobody did.
No.
So it's somewhere between here and Fort Worth.
I don't know. Target, like Walmart shipping, they're usually pretty quick. Now I've gotten things, you know, I've had a fight with them on a few things. I've gotten packages that weren't my item, but I've been able to resolve those, some with great effort and some easily. But Target, I've noticed it either comes in 2 days or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
There is like no middle ground.
They had a lot of items on there. Like I thought, well, I'll go ahead and stock up on my Mrs. Myers because we go through that, you know, and it's a average price there. Well, it was like this item may be unavailable, and I can't remember what that one said, but I wasn't willing to pay for something I may or may never get.
Yeah.
And then have to fight that later.
No.
I do like that Mrs. Myers stuff, though.
It
I
is
wanted the
great.
room deodorizer for the bathroom, and I won't have to have it because I'm going to use chlorine. And then that all-purpose cleaner. Oh, I love that stuff. So much better than all the other chemicals.
Oh.
Between, I almost said ammonia, but vinegar, and I do use bleach, especially if, the cats do something stupid. And then, because we have wood floors, so it's whatever. And then Mrs. Myers, that's all you need.
Yeah. Some of those other things scare me.
Me too.
I used to use the Comet bathroom spray all the time. I never had a problem with it. And then in the kitchen, I would use the Lysol multi-purpose, which was in the yellow bottle. And I managed fine with that. But it only did what it did.
Yeah.
The other stuff, I really feel like it cuts through stuff.
Yes, it does. Even in my bathroom.
It doesn't feel like it sits on the, I don't know if it's like an enzyme action
it has
or
to be.
acidity or something.
Because I used it in the bathroom and it cut, like where I would normally have that white spray sit on there forever. I just squirt that on there and waited a little bit and it literally just came right off.
It's great stuff. Right now in the bathroom, because I ran out of my Myers for in the bathroom, I have Method, which really...
I wondered if that was the same.
It gives me a headache.
Oh, okay.
And I've noticed Target's version of the natural cleaner, I forget what it's called. I mean, Walmart's had the same brand. It's the store versions of that stuff. It gives me a headache.
Okay.
I'll use it because I had it.
Yeah.
And I actually came up here and got it from under the sink because it had been down here forever and used it in the bathroom down there because I'd ran out and I wasn't going to go to the store. But it does give me a headache. I don't like it.
But good to know because they were popping that up as an alternative, but I didn't.
I don't know. I just, I think it's a little deceptive in the way it looks. It seems like it's some
similar,
natural type. But I don't think it's plant-based like the Myers stuff is. I don't know.
Well, that was my story.
It was a good story.
Sucked me in.
It was really a good story.
Thank you.
Button time?
Yeah, I think so.
Adios.
Thanks for listening.